Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good afternoon, assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. Boy, we have some things to discuss. The Pakistan-England series is also something that is on the cards. We start with the first T20 international, then of course we move on to Pakistan's World Cup preparations. There's been a lot of team talk, some of it has been made official. Of course we do have some inside news as well. We'll be talking about that, Pakistan's probables for the World Cup. What kind of playing 11 do we want to witness? How are you going to fit certain players into the squad? You know, you talk about that 15 and then from 15 onwards you need to make an 11. So I think the rhetoric that it might vary from condition to condition is something that also needs to be discussed in detail. So we've got all the discussion here that we will be looking at, and I think a lot of you have already finalized your playing 11s as well, and you are pretty sure of your squads. I've been gauging a lot of your comments on social media as well, so a very well informed audience we have. So I must say that a lot of us had already been sure of Pakistan's traditional playing 11 or traditional World Cup squad. Like I highlighted the previous week as well, I don't see any dramatic changes happening, and neither should be the case. So we'll talk about that, and then we move on to some interesting things happening in the world of cricket, where Bangladesh were up against the United States of America, the host country for the T20 World Cup, and boy, was it a spoiler alert. So we're going to talk about that as well in detail, how the game progressed, and obviously for Bangladesh as well, it's been testing times as far as their cricket is concerned, and we've often said it on the show that it's about time now that they need to invest looking beyond the likes of Mushfiqur Rahim, Shakib Al Hasan, you know, invest in that next future that's going to take up the realm as well. So that is very, very important that they produce future superstars. So we'll talk about that game and what USA or the diversity of cricket brings to the table as well. To discuss this further, time now to introduce our guest. First of all, in studios, we've been joined by cricket commentator, international broadcaster, presenter, and our sports expert, Kiasif Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Walaikum assalam, Ahmed. I'm well, thank you.
Thank you for joining us. And boy, it's a special occasion on Sports Extra, because the next gentleman I'm going to introduce you to is already someone who's making, who has been making, let me correct myself, headlines all around the globe. When you talk about Pakistan cricket, it is something certainly where he's aced it as well. The discussion often is there, the podcast, you've been listening to so many comments on social media as well, and I was just saying that finally we're lucky to have him in studios. Joining us is cricket expert and analyst Mr. Behram Qazi. Assalamu alaikum, how are you, sir?
Walaikum assalam, Ahmed bhai, and first of all, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. I think I've come to the studio after what, 8 years? Like I first came on TV, my first appearance was back in 2014 on Sports Extra, so it feels a bit special, and I mean, I'm really excited to talk about whatever you have in store for
You're
us.
back home, we can say
Yes.
that, sir. It's certainly great to have you on the show as well. So like I said, that we need to, I think, take things in particular fashion, and Asif, we've talked a lot about that Pakistan-England series, haven't we? We've talked about the fact that the World Cup is right next to the corner. I think what we see in this 4 T20s, we highlighted that it's going to be Pakistan's probable playing 11. But more than that, what we're missing out is England is also in the process of finalizing their playing 11. And for them as well, this is a very, very important series.
Well, Ahmed, when we talk about the importance of these series, not only this, the New Zealand series for Pakistan and the Ireland and the England, all of these series, these 11 matches, they all were really important. But what happened actually, we missed the trick. We didn't give chances to the new players, and we came up with the rotation policies, and that rotations, I don't think so, doesn't make any sense for me, because, you know, the players, as we have discussed so many times, as Babar Azam and Rizwan, they were brilliant as an openers, and we have given chances to the new players. People who always talk about that the Fakhar Zaman, once again, you know, he used to perform after 8 or 10 matches. His consistency is a problem. Then Saim Ayub, sorry to say, whoever the coach of or the mentor mentoring to the Saim Ayub is not telling right thing to that to only play one shot, and that is the square leg and the fine leg or the mid wicket area. If you watch him, I used to tell, once again I'm mentioning this point that he is such a fantastic talent. And when we talk about his 4-day innings, if you watch out, that you will find his cover drive, his straight drives, his cut shot, his square drive, his on drives, each and everything is perfect. But when he relies only one shot, that is no look shot, I found this word from him. I think that now enough is enough. He should have played now with the straight bat, and just try to learn from the Rachin Ravindra that what kind of player he is. He doesn't play across the line, but his economy, you see his strike rate, it's fabulous, around 120, 130 even in ODIs. So this is the problem. Now you were talking about England, that what they will do. I think that the English team's preparations are perfect. They brought back Jofra Archer. Everyone knows that what kind of talent he is. Last night I was watching his videos. Either it's T20 match, either it's ODI, either it's test match. I think is perfect, and this is what Brian Lara said about him, that he is the guy who could play all the formats.
Certainly, but I think as far as that question of Saim's technicalities, me and Asif were on the same page, and we'll highlight it once again, that talk needs to be, I think, posed to the batting coach and the management. It's their job, categorically. I think the player shouldn't be overburdened with certain things. Obviously, he's got to go back to the drawing table. One thing is, I think, on the positive side, that he has been given the assurity that he's going to be with the team and he's playing as well. So that's very important. But before we move on, we're just going to take a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. And welcome back. And now, of course, we take the discussion to Behram. Behram, Pakistan's particular playing 11 or the squad has been on everybody's mind. I think be it on digital media, traditional forms of media, non-media platforms, everybody's very curious to know what's going to happen. But, you know, some of us have made our analysis, including you on various platforms, that more or less there won't be any dramatic changes. And what's the importance that then you see of this England series or these 4 T20s trying those combinations for your World Cup campaign?
Well, Ahmed, to echo your sentiment, I do believe and agree with you that yes, I do not see any dramatic changes happening. But with respect to this series in particular, I really hope that Pakistan's management and captain treat it as preparation. Because I feel like Pakistan is too concerned with the result at times, and there are a few chinks in their armor that they really need to fix ASAP. One of those chinks is, of course, your top 4. I feel like Pakistan are as far from figuring out their top 4 as they were at the start of this entire experiment, right? And yes, Fakhr performed the other day, but Fakhr also came and batted that way in the power play. He didn't really perform that role of a number 4, right? Because in the middle overs, Pakistan has really struggled. If you look at the last 2 years or 1.5 years, ever since the end of the last T20 World Cup, Pakistan's scoring rate in the middle overs is 7.3 runs per over, which is the 3rd least in the entire world if you look at full member nations. And I think that is a major concern. Apart from that, I was really happy with the way Pakistan went about their chase in the last 2 games versus Ireland. They chased down 190 odd and 180 odd in 16.5 and 17 overs respectively. But can they translate that same sort of impactful batting in the first innings. That remains to be seen. So all I really hope for is that Pakistan's entire contingent does not care about the result in this series, right? Pakistan lost 4-0 to England prior to the 2019 ODI World Cup as well, and they beat England in the 2019 ODI World Cup. So even if they lose all games, I want them to be brave enough to bat first wherever they get that opportunity, and they shouldn't be concerned with the result. England is a top team. Just the fact that their full strength team is available is great for Pakistan in terms of preparation, because you get to test yourself versus the best. And I hope that that's the way they're looking at it, because if they overly, I don't know, what would you call it?
Anticipate things probably?
Not even anticipate things, if they obsess over the result and the scoreline, I feel like they're going to go into safety mode again. Whereas I would like to see Pakistan use this opportunity to go ahead and make those, brave calls, which helps them fix their flaws. And then when you go to the T20 World Cup, you can bowl first, but you won't always win the toss, and at times you will have to bat first. So they need to be prepared for that. And Babar Azam has mentioned that they changed their mindset in the Ireland series. I mean, better late than never, I suppose. But I do have some expectations, but also I feel like there are other teams in, the circuit who are playing better T20 cricket than Pakistan. So they really need to fix these things ASAP. Otherwise, they're going to fall behind the curve by quite a distance.
Certainly. Yes, Asif, you'd like to add to that.
I think that Behram has mentioned two really important points. That the problem of the economy, that over number 7 to over number 15. I think if you watch last two T20s, the good thing was that Babar and Rizwan, both they were playing, and the good thing was they were making 8 and 10 runs, one boundary, and then they were concentrating on the single. So when you're missing singles, this is really important. You have to learn the art that how you're making 10 runs. It's not all about that easy that you're going for the hitting and bringing sixes. The question is that if you're taking single easily, 3-4 singles, and then you'll find a loosener and you can convert in boundary and 8-9 runs. I think 8-9 runs in from over number 7 to over number 15, that would be really fantastic idea for Pakistan.
That's a great point that you mentioned, and I'll just come back to you, Behram. We've also been joined by cricket expert Umar Khan. Assalamu alaikum, Umar. How are you?
Walaikum salam. I'm very well. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, certainly. Umar, what would you like to say about the upcoming series that starts today, and then of course the importance of it, and like both of the guests mentioned as well, that we shouldn't shy away from making experiments in this series?
First of all, it's a very good platform for Pakistan to train, right before the World Cup, and this is the real test, because now playing against England, we get to know where we stand. Against Ireland, we won the series at the end, but we can't celebrate out of it. I think what happened to Pakistan in the first game was new conditions, and Pakistan weren't expecting the Irish bowlers to utilize the new ball so well. And it took them a little bit of time to adjust to that, and once they did really well. Coming to the experiments that the Pakistan team did, when you play high-risk cricket, there's an opportunity for the other team to get wickets. And now Saim Ayub on the top, opening, he'll play his shots. So when you play your shots, you'll either lose your wickets or you'll get big runs. So this is a brave move by Pakistan. Initially, when we had Babar and Rizwan as the opening pair, the first wicket used to stay for 8 to 10 overs. At times they used to score at 7 runs an over, at times they used to score at 10 runs an over. But that used to get the pressure on the middle order. I'm satisfied with this fact that even if we're losing wickets at the end, we've got two stable players in Babar and Rizwan who can play the anchor role if we lose wickets. Then we've got Iftikhar, Azam Khan, and then the firepower all the way till number 11 Pakistan bats, where batsmen can come in and hit 2 sixes, and that's all you need in T20 cricket. So I think we should back this. The problem with Pakistan critics is they do not accept change until unless you just keep winning. So I think give time. These players, they have something in mind. What I am worried about is the selection of Shadab in the playing 11. That is a question mark for me, because we've got Imad Wasim, we've got Saim Ayub and Iftikhar who can bowl 4 overs together. So this is more over something that we could work for. But Saim at the top is perfect, and Fakhar Zaman at number 4, I think this is a very good batting.
Well, certainly, Umar has raised a very important point. Behram, you'd like to continue where we left off, and also I think this has become a bit of a conundrum now, Shadab's inclusion or exclusion.
Yeah, so a few things over here. First, I agree with Asif Bhai that, of course, rotation of strike is important, right? You don't want to get stuck out there, right? But modern day T20 cricket, it has that sort of template that if you get the slot ball, if it's in your zone, you have to go for it as well. You look at what's happening over in the IPL. Sure, the pitches will be different and the surfaces will be vastly different in the Caribbean in particular. But we don't know what will happen in the USA, right? They're going to be drop-in pitches. Those grounds are untested for the most part and you don't have a lot of data. So Pakistan had this set template of winning T20 internationals where they would either chase whatever, and if the pitch has true bounce, they could even chase 200 plus. That was not an issue, right? If the surface was slow, sometimes chasing 150 was an issue. The Asia Cup final comes into mind, right? But Pakistan had one set template of winning T20s, which was defend par totals, because you've got some of the best strike bowlers in the world. Now the bowling has experienced a drop off. I want Pakistan to utilize this series in a way where they can figure out other methods of victory. Why is Australia so successful in tournament cricket, ICC tournaments? Why do they have so many trophies and their trophy cabinet is literally littered? Is because they know how to win games of cricket in multiple ways. And I think that's where Pakistan lacks. It's just one set template, and that's what I want them to move away from, because there will be days when your bowling will go for plenty. You can't always rely on the bowlers to bail you out, and they recently have experienced quite a huge drop-off.
Modern day cricket has become something where 200 is the new 150. So your batsmen need to be ready to score those big runs.
And with respect
please.
With respect to Shadab Khan in particular, I feel like we need to start looking at him as a batting all-rounder. He is a sixth bowling option currently. And if your surface assists a lot of spin, if it's a turner, then perhaps he could be your fifth bowling option. But one unique skill set that he does provide you, and people who followed his batting will possibly agree to this, is that in the middle overs his ball striking is exemplary. Particularly versus spin, he is amazing. And if you remember the game versus South Africa in the T20 World Cup 2022 at Sydney, he even took down pace. He smashed Nokia for sixes. I feel like they, or when I say they, I mean Pakistan's management, consistently look at Shadab as a floater option. I would like to see Shadab as someone who is penciled in to bat in the middle overs and give Pakistan that impetus so that you're not scoring 7.3 runs per over from over 750.
I would frankly not even mind him at number 4.
Yeah,
I think the way he's playing, that's what teams have done, I think, internationally. Asif?
Maybe Islamabad United wants him as an opener, to be honest, because well, I think that Behram, first of all, that when we talk about a role of a bowler, he came and he joined Pakistan cricket team. He has been selected as a leg spinner. So his first job is to bowl well for Pakistan. But when he bats well, it's a very good thing. We require good batters in the middle. As you said, number 4, Ahmed is agreeing on that. But the question is that what happened with his 4 overs? Pakistan could lose in the way he's bowling. To be honest, not with proper line or length. What is the problem? What is the root cause?
I think it's
the root cause is, let me complete. The root cause is that he's not playing domestic cricket. He's not playing 4-day cricket, and that's why he is not getting his line permanently. So I think whenever we talk about the batters or the bowlers, as Umar was talking about Azam Khan, the same problem is with the Azam Khan is, see, his footwork is a huge problem, dear. Either behind the stumps or either he's batting on the both sides. So the players like Azam Khan and Usman Khan, I don't know if Usman Khan will be in the squad or not. For me, I don't think so. There would be a
I think his
call.
sacrifice is weighing on calls right now. So we're very morally correct right now. Yeah. And I think people are going to start calling us old hags the way we've cried about domestic cricket and its importance. But I think particularly there have been so many examples around the world. Azhar Ali came as a leg spinner. He figured out he could bat well, went towards there. Steve Smith is a prime example.
Players evolve, right? Yeah. So if you started off as a particular profile of player, it doesn't mean that you end up as that profile.
But Behram, they play all formats. They play
very true.
Test cricket, they play ODIs.
But that's for Shadab to make that decision.
I agree with you as long as we're talking about ODI cricket and Test cricket. 100% domestic and 4-day cricket would have helped Shadab. But with respect to T20s, I want them to play in a way where you're not relying on him for 4 overs. You've got Iftikhar and Saim, right? We just mentioned that. And Imad Wasim is bowling really well. He conceded 72 runs and took 2 wickets in 10 overs in that series versus Ireland, where the boundary sizes in Clontarf were tiny. So that's huge. I mean, good on Imad Wasim for achieving that.
Absolutely.
So I hope that they're looking at the batting order as dynamic, and you look at certain roles for certain phases in the game and then manage your entry points and matchups according to that. I feel like in Pakistan, if someone's slated in as number 3, let's say Simon Rizwan bat till over number 10. don't send Babar. You know, it's fairly obvious, isn't it?
That's a brave call. A lot of
Yeah.
people have tried to make this call, but have eventually, you know,
I think
not stuck to it. Bahram made a very brave call at
No,
this
no,
moment.
see, what's happening with Pakistan cricket team? The Babar and Rizwan, both they were performing so well as an opener, and let's suppose if they didn't perform well, Pakistan lost, and Pakistani cricket analysts, commentators like me, and hosts like Ahmed, they've started criticizes on Babar
The
Azam.
quacks. The quacks, as you say.
I feel like criticism is valid as long as you keep it constructive.
Absolutely.
No, that's
Sometimes
fine.
people take it too far in Pakistan, right?
No, now the question is now there is your personal liking or disliking. Please think only for Pakistan. What is better for
I think,
Pakistan?
Asif, we want to correct things which don't need to be corrected. I think that's
Yes,
become,
that's right. I
become
mean,
a habit now
the
in
Pakistan
cricket.
problem is the middle order batting.
Yes.
That's the problem that we're not.
I think even
right
more
before
than
the
that.
show,
Yes.
before the show, I was talking to Behram and he said, "Do we have an alternative about Iftikhar?" I said that we didn't give chances. Why we're not bringing players from the domestic cricket who are performing so well? We have so many names. You have so many names. Even Behram knows. Then why we're not bringing and not giving them chances? We're just focusing on one thing, and that is Pakistan Super
Well,
League.
certainly.
We have
I
we
do-
have a super example of Haris Rauf and Usman
The
Khan.
indicators really do matter over here. And I think, Umar, obviously, you can also step into this discussion that the fact is that, you know, that flexibility in the order, especially if Shadab is a much more talented batter than he is a bowler, then why not use him to that advantage?
Well, on the international circuit, out of his career, he's playing since like 2017-16, I believe. In 7-8 years, he got only performances with the bat which I can count on my fingers. You can't count on a few performances to be a permanent number 4. Shoaib Malik also came in as a spinner, turned into a batsman. Shahid Afridi came in as a medium pacer, turned into a leg spinner and then a batsman. But Shadab Khan in domestic circuit, in leagues as a batsman is fine. But in T20 cricket, you can play a bit of cameos, but on number 4, you need a batsman who can hit and rotate at the same time, because that's the most crucial part. We've got better batsmen than Shadab at number 4, and I don't have any personal grudge against him. He's a match winner. He's won many matches for Pakistan. But in the past 18 months, if you look at his performance graph, it has fallen down. Me being a leg spinner myself, if you see all the leg spinner in T20 cricket, the most important thing is accuracy. While if you look at Shadab's bowling pitch map, he'll bowl 2 short balls, 1 full toss. So out of 6, you're giving 3 free hits. And on the highest level, they won't leave you. They won't spare you. Right now, if you look at the leg spinner, Rashid Khan is one of the best. So he doesn't bowl with flight. People say leg spinners need flight. He doesn't flight the ball. He's flat, but he's accurate. There were many, like Amit Mishra from India or Yuzvendra Chahal from India. They used to flight the ball, but then again, accuracy was the part. Shadab as a batsman, against Minos, I would say okay, but against the good teams, they won't let them move. This is what my perspective is. We agree to disagree. But I think right now, Fakhar at 4 is the better option.
Just to counter that,
Yes.
and I mean, with complete respect to Umar, of course, where, I mean, at least I do my work where I don't try to, you know, be dismissive of anyone's opinion. And I think that's important in this industry as well. I feel like he's spot on with respect to Shadab's bowling. If you look at the pitch map, it is all over the place. You'll get your full tosses, you'll get your drag backs, and very few deliveries will be landed in the proper channel, right? 100% in agreement with that, and part of the reason also is his consistent injuries to his groin. I feel like that has messed up his alignment as well, which is why he's gone from being Pakistan's most potent spin threat to a 6th bowling option, right? And we're all in agreement with that. But when you talk about Shadab, the batter, particularly in the middle order or number 4, has he been given enough opportunities consistently?
Absolutely.
He
I
has been
completely
used as
agree.
a floater. And I can they count some really crucial knocks. You take the South Africa one, right? And then you also look at the Afghanistan one, in the match which we remember for Naseem's 6s
Yes.
was a match that Shadab Khan
Yeah,
won
had he
you.
not been man-cut, he would have
Yes.
probably won you the game
And
single-handedly.
he was batting brilliantly versus the best spin attack in the world in testing conditions. You are going to play a World Cup in the Caribbean where you can expect some slow and low surfaces, and you can also expect to play some top spin attacks.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, Pakistan has had a fabled, or that was fortunate, well, they had a fabled history with respect to spin bowling, but right now, your spin bowling stocks aren't great. Imad had a good series. Imad is not a turner of the ball. He's a defensive bowling option that won't give you room, and he'll keep things tight, which I'm all for. But that is an area that Pakistan need to capitalize on if they are to win the World Cup. And Fakhar Zaman on slow and low surfaces is, I don't trust him when the surface isn't like true. When there's no true bounce, then I don't know, I'm not feeling too comfortable with Fakhar. Even though I completely agree, he's the sort of guy who can completely change the complexion of a game. But when it comes to the Caribbean, I'm not too certain if he's the right guy. In the USA, perhaps. But then again, right now he performed when he came out to bat in the power play. We know he can do that, right? We don't know how well he can bat at number 4. And if he's anchoring at number 4, then on a bad day, you have the triple anchor. And with a triple anchor, your boat will sink.
And Bahram, that over number
let
7,
me-
Asif, that over number 7 to 15, where Fakhar's usually going to come to bat, teams are going to deploy their best spin attack that they've got. That's going to happen. You've got good quality left arm spinners, quality leg spinners who are going to outsmart you for a batter like Fakhar, who generally plays, towards the squarish side. They're going to outsmart you the best they can. So that's going to happen.
And,
Yes,
and
Asif.
Ahmed, actually, you know that the problem is that everyone plays good in the power play. The Fakhar Zaman, Shadab Khan.
No, everybody wants to play in the power
No,
play. Let
that's
me be
the
honest.
problem. That's the problem. And sorry to say, but just on a lighter note, now people started calling about Shadab Khan right arm full toss bowler. Why? Just because of his line or length, and that's the big problem for Pakistan.
But Asif, you would agree with what Bahram said. Had Shadab been given enough chances as Fakhar Zaman as a batter, I can bet you results would have been different on numbers.
To be very honest, I want to see Shadab Khan in playing 11 just because of his best fielding. To be honest,
I mean,
he
you can't
is
discount that.
such a fantastic fielder. He could save 15-20 runs for you. He could take a couple of good catches and run outs for you.
So you're match winner,
yeah,
unlike the
I
other
think-
match winner.
He's three-dimensional that way.
Yeah, I think that he's the best athlete in Pakistan side. The problem is that we want him to bowl well. This is a really, really genuine need for Pakistan. And let's suppose if he's not bowling well and if you're bringing him on number 4, I think that would be a good idea in terms of his batting. Yes, he performed well. The way Behram was referring a couple of the matches he was talking about. Yes, that match I do remember when Naseem Shah has smashed a couple of sixes. Credit goes to Shadab Khan, of course. So I think that when we talk about the batters like Iftikhar and Azam, if they're not performing well or if they're not consistently performing well in their batting, then promote Shadab Khan, give him some chances, and I think this is the best time now. You have 4 matches, bring him on number 4, and let's give it a shot out. If he performs well, it's good for Pakistan.
And Umar earlier said that in the middle order you need someone who can rotate strike as well. I would slightly disagree. I would say you've got insurance in the form of Babar and Rizwan somewhat, even though they're changing the narrative around them, and I'm all here for that, right? But I would rather stack up the middle order and lower middle order with high impact players. Because in T20 cricket, you need one or two of those
do
guys.
not
to
have
perform.
high impact players. Who are they?
I mean, if
Who are
Iftikhar
they?
and Azam do count as high impact
No.
players.
If you do count them, see their stats, see their performances. Azam Khan in 12 matches, I think 4, 5, 6s.
Well,
Is
but
that correct?
recent form is
No,
solid,
not-
right?
No, but
12 international
but Asif,
matches.
we
I'm
talked
not talking
him.
about the
But
franchise
Asif, what should be the
cricket.
indicator? Then what's your indicator? Give him at least 20 matches. Give him at least how many matches?
No, I think that his selection was a wrong idea. The time gone. I wanted to see some other player. He was taking them Haris. You also mentioned Haris. I want to see Asibullah. We have different opinions. But Azam Khan, on what basis?
What about the 6-hitting ability of changing games?
And
If the role is only defined,
If you look
it's
at
only defined,
if you
And
look at
I
all,
think that we had the same role for Asif Ali. What happened in
and
the end?
Husdil Shah.
What happened in the end?
yes, but Asif Ali could hit one kind of bowler for one kind of 6. So that was a major limitation.
And what happened with the Azam Khan in 12 matches?
Well,
in
whenever you're stuck in a conundrum, I think it's always good to go to the person who's probably might have a different opinion in this discussion. Umar, what's your take on Azam Khan's inclusion?
Seen this boy grow, literally. The thing about Azam is that he can play all around the ground. Like he can hit the ball out of the park over covers. Very few batsmen can do that. And if my fellows here remember his performances in the Caribbean League, where the top half of the World Cup will be, his team was struggling with 20 for 4, 20 for 3, 30 for 5, and he stayed there in the middle and got them through to 150, 160. So not only Azam can hit the ball, he can rotate the strike. The reason why I'm focusing on rotating strike that in a T20 match, when you lose few wickets up front, you need a batsman like Misbah, who used to stable and then finish and get a respectable score. So it's not all about hitting. We've seen what happens to England when they go all berserk and they fail. You get bowled out under 100. So a moderate approach is required. While Azam, I think he's a very good player. Recently, he just got few balls and we saw what he can do. So it's all about clicking. And Zamamul Haq in the '92 World Cup was a disaster right before the semi-final. He won us the World Cup. So I'm not comparing him with a great Inzri, but what I'm saying is he has the capability, and in T20 you need an impact player who can change the game in 5 to 10 balls. That's exactly what Azam can do. Over of 2022 you require, Azam can come in, hit 3 sixes and 4 balls, change the game, get out. We don't care. So that is the role that Azam should have, and I think he's a very wonderful perspective for Pakistan.
Just to
Yes, please.
add on Azam, he is the fastest Pakistan player to 200 T20 sixes, and I know that includes all T20s, but he's ahead of the likes of Asif Ali and Shahid Afridi and Fakhar Zaman. And if you look at this globally, he is the 10th fastest to 200 sixes in T20 cricket. He's taken 2,174 deliveries. So he's roughly averaging a 6 every 10 balls, which is fantastic. There is one caveat though, and I completely agree with Umar about the CPL. I feel like both Saim and Azam have that edge that they've performed in that tournament, and they even won the tournament this year, right, for the Guyana Amazon Warriors, or last year.
Well, guys, you're opening another Pandora box.
Yeah,
Let me ask you-
I agree with you there. I'm just going to mention one caveat, and that obviously is his fitness in keeping, right? If Azam is going to miss opportunities, like in the last T20 versus Ireland, he missed a stumping, he dropped a catch, and he gave away byes, then you're not net positive anymore as a cricketer.
But you do understand, if we're playing him, then he gets to keep the wickets.
Absolutely,
not
because
Rizwan. Yes.
Rizwan has done well in the outfield,
Yeah.
but Azam is a bit of a worry behind the stumps, and he can't, afford lots of lapses. And I think Asif Bhai mentioned a fantastic point earlier. The footwork matters more in the keeping.
Yes.
He can hit sixes with the batting, but if his footwork is off in the keeping, and if he's relying solely on his hands, well, that to me is a worry, because one day the hands will stop doing, what they do. The reflexes will wear out. What is the solution then?
All right,
Yes,
guys,
Asif.
let me give you a solution, and respectably disagreeing with Omar Bhai, the nice person, Omar Bhai, and Behram Saab. The question is, you guys are talking about CPL, PSL, the franchise cricket, what happened in Bangladesh Premier League, that he hit 206s. I do not have any concern with that, to be honest. Because there's a huge difference between the franchise cricket and international cricket.
Agreed.
A player who can hit, 1/6 in each 10 deliveries, why he's not hitting the same number of sixes in international cricket? What's the problem? The problem is that the international cricket, even if you're playing the teams like Ireland, they will definitely do the homework. They have statisticians. They will see that where you are lacking, and then the international pressure. And Omar Bhai, by the way, Azam cannot play pull or hook shot. That's the problem, big problem. Whenever he will go, he'll be static, no feet movement, and might be it will go a long way somewhere. And
But surprisingly, his strongest region is extra cover. Surprisingly.
Extra coverage, and the bowlers like Jasprit Bumrah, bowlers like Pat Cummins, bowlers like Trent Bolt, they won't allow you to play over the extra cover.
He's not opening the bowling. He's not. I don't
Maybe
think
they
that's
will be
the
bowling in number 7, number 8. So and another thing, as Behram mentioned, that what will happen if he's giving chances in the stumping, in the catching, the Pakistan can lose the game.
Absolutely.
That's the problem.
That is a major caveat with respect to why he might not have worked out well in international cricket. Sure, the standard is obviously higher.
Yeah.
100% agreed.
Yeah.
But also, you didn't manage his entry points well. You didn't, capitalize on the matchups that Azam could succeed in. And when you've got leg spinners on, you send him. You take use of or make full use of that matchup and cash in. And I feel like they have dropped the ball every now and then on that opportunity. But then again,
Behram,
his
we both
performance-
were watching that match that the Usman was struggling, even Ish Soodi in Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium. Do you remember that? Why Usman Khan was struggling? Because he cannot play properly the spinners, and everyone started talking about that, bring him as an opener. This is cricket. and you'd have to perform at any position if the team is giving you. If you're coming on number 4, you'd have to go not out making 45, 40 on 35 deliveries, 30. You'd have to show yourself. You'd have to showcase your talent. It's it's not easy that when you're throwing your wicket on a very cheap delivery, and then you're sitting in the dugout and people are talking that he's not coming as an opener.
I think
so
but
that's the
to-
problem.
to
The
the players'
problem with the
credit.
Azam Khan.
But I think to the players' credit, I would agree on many points, but I think to the players' credit and something that we've not done as a cricketing nation or a cricket management, obviously we're not part of it, but the fact is that, as Behram also mentioned, Asif, you've highlighted as well, that at least every player in the team should know their role of what they are supposed to do. Now, for a guy like Azam Khan, I cannot ask him to bat through. You know, I can probably give him a role of just going after the certain bowlers, even if it means costing you a wicket, but I need to have that cushion. Like I've been saying on many shows, that what we've done in the past, that we've only, gauged or bisected the career of Mohammad Rizwan and Babar Azam as an opening pair. We've not talked about the players around them, what they were doing in those years when they were not performing. So I think that's very important that we highlight this as well. But obviously another conundrum opens up about Pakistan's bowling, which has been our strength, but unfortunately in the current scenario, it's not been the top-notch bowling that we're used to. On paper, one might say we've got the strongest side, but until you tick your boxes right, I think they'll be of no use. So obviously, moving towards the close of the show as well very soon. Before that, I must ask all my guests of their hypothetical playing 11s, but your bowling options, Behram, first of all, what kind of bowling options are you going with, considering Pakistan's more or less known squad that's going to be announced?
I want Pakistan to formulate 2 different starting 11s. On surfaces which have true bounce, I want them to go in with 4 paces. And even if that will shorten your batting lineup, I'll go with the best 4
Be brave
paces.
enough to do that.
Yeah, be brave enough to play your best 4 paces. In the other attack, I would have 3 paces. And, obviously Imad, Shadab, Iftikhar, Saim. Enough spinners in there so that if someone is getting absolutely smashed, they don't have to bowl their full quota. And Abrar. Abrar would somehow fit into that 11 in which you're playing that extra spinner, right?
If he's given game time.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, that's also a good thing that Ireland didn't get to play him because the mystery element has sort of,
remains there.
persisted. So there are pros and cons to both of those things. But yes, in that particular bowling attack in which you're, playing a spinner ahead of a pacer, Abrar has to be that guy. Otherwise, you've got enough, buffer overs in the tank that even if, one of the paces is going for plenty, you can have someone else pitch in. I hope that Pakistan are looking at 2 separate starting 11s in that regard because they've got 4 matches to figure this out. And Pakistan has a habit of figuring out their best 11 mid-tournament. I hope that's not the case this time.
Absolutely, because obviously I think you can't just rely on that one strategy. Often it has backfired and then we've been left stranded in World Cups. That's happened before as well. That romance with Shaheen Shah Afridi, that romance with Naseem Shah. Once they weren't there, we got nowhere. Asif, your hypothetical playing 11 and especially the bowling department that we're focused on. Right?
I think that we'll go with Shaheen, Amir, Naseem Shah. And of course that I'm not sure about, you guys will tell me about Haris Rauf. Is he okay? Is he fine? Or still he's struggling? So if these 4 fast bowlers, it's a pacey track like Behram was mentioning. But once again, the problem is the batting order. I think that Simon Rizwan as an opener, number 3 Babar Azam, number 4 Fakhar Zaman, and then number 5 Azam Khan and Iftikhar. And once again, if Iftikhar is coming on number 6, then what will happen with Shadab? Either he's playing or not. Then if he's not playing, because of course that will go with the 4 fast bowlers, then Saim and Iftikhar, rightly said by Behram, that we could use them as spinners.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Umar,
Just to
if I
quickly-
can I take Umar's playing 11? Then Umar, your hypothetical bowling lineup that you'd like to see in the World Cup for Pakistan.
Well, currently, I'll totally agree to what my brother said here. And the fast bowlers, if we're playing 4 paces, so of course Amir brings in a lot of experience, and he really helps calm down Shaheen's nerves as well. And we've seen the difference of Shaheen's performance when Amir is in the playing 11. So Shaheen, Naseem, Amir, and then the 4th pacer would be either Abbas or Hassan Ali, whoever we're taking in the final 15 squad. Haris, I don't think would be fit enough, or if he is, so his performance would be a big question mark. The mystery element of Abrar is there. Imad Wasim is my playing 11, and then we have got Iftikhar Ahmed and Saim as spinners, who can add on 4 to 5 overs together. So as a battering opening pair, I would go with Saim, Rizwan, Babar at 3, 4 would be Fakhar Zaman, 5 would be Iftikhar, 6 Azam, followed by the middle order with Imad Wasim and then Tail.
Certainly,
yeah, that's
certainly. I think that's a pretty decent playing 11. But thank you very much, Umar Khan, for joining us. Now, before the close, Behram, you want to add something? And also, if you can chip in with what we have just witnessed between the United States of America and Bangladesh as well.
So two things with respect to what both of our or my peers in the panel have said. One, yes, I think it's very important to talk about Haris Rauf. We didn't talk about him in the entire show. This series is a litmus test, whether or not he's going to be the same Haris Rauf or not. Because look, people love him or hate him, but he has been your best death bowler. You can pull out the numbers. You can look at global death bowling. Haris Rauf is right up there. He's quick, and then his change of pace is also really good. He can give you the Yorker, the bouncer. He has the full skill set. But for a right arm express pacer, if you dislocate your bowling arm shoulder, like Jeff Thompson did all those years ago, there is a risk of losing 10 clicks. And if Haris Rauf loses 10 clicks, then that is the end of Haris Rauf. So this series is very important for him, and it will be a litmus test. We'll find out whether or not he still has it. And if he does, he makes it to my starting 11 100%. Other than that, with the batting order, I feel like after the openers, you've got to keep it dynamic and flexible. You've got to look at the phases of the game. You've got to look at matchups. You've got to see which player is, or provides most utility in what particular phase of the game. And like I said earlier, if you've played 10, 12 overs with Saim and Rizwan, I don't see a point in sending Babar Azam then. He comes in if you lose a wicket by, the 4th, 5th, 6th, even 8th over. I'm fine with that. And with respect to USA and Bangladesh, well, it just tells you how T20 cricket can actually make this game global. The gulf between teams will get shorter, or it will diminish. Ireland recently beat Pakistan as well, and the USA, not only did they defeat Bangladesh, but they defeated them quite convincingly.
Absolutely.
First, Bangladesh crawled to 150 odd, thanks to Tawheed Ridoy's half century. And then the USA basically just chased it down with 3 balls to spare. So this is a warning sign, if anything, to all the teams competing in this T20 World Cup. And we saw this in the last edition as well, that anyone can beat anyone.
Absolutely.
The Netherlands defeated South Africa.
Certainly.
So
I think the diversity of the game is certainly something that we look forward to as well. But thank you very much, Behram, Qazi and K. Asif, for joining us as well. I think to Haris Rauf's credit, he should be glad he got that injury whilst the PCB medical panel already resigned. Otherwise, it would have been a horrible story what had been happening there. But right before we go, we've got a very special birthday wish to send out. Mr. Sharik, a very dear friend, of course, and you can say a little fan of our show as well. Sharik's got his birthday today, so Sharik, from the entire team of Sports Extra, me, Behram, Asif and our entire team, a very, very happy birthday to you, Sharik Junaid. And we hope that you excel your years to come and be the proud son you are to your father Junaid as well, who also happens to be a very dear friend. So almost like a nephew. So Sharik, a very happy birthday. Stay blessed and enjoy your day. On that note, we're going to leave you and we join you tomorrow once again. From me and the entire team, it's goodbye for now.